So I went back and forth a lot while recording this review on exactly what I wanted to say and just kind of trying to figure out how I felt about this chapter because it wasn't just a point blank either I loved it or I hated it type of chapter, because on one half it was like, yeah, I definitely felt as though it should have done some damage, the whole Lacrima bomb, I was really hoping for something big out of that, some damage, some injuries, something like that. But even though it was stopped and no one really got hurt from it, I still felt as though it made sense as to how it was done. It was very unexpected. It wasn't like, Mavis coming in and putting a fucking spear around or anything of that nature. It actually felt like, holy shit, Cana's more useful than just drinking beer and having big-ass titties. So with that aspect, with Cana doing what she did, using her card magic and quickly getting out of there, while it felt a little bit too convenient, like, oh, she just had enough time to do all of that and get out of there before the explosion, still, it made somewhat sense, and it was just like, okay, this wasn't what I predicted. I'm happy in that aspect. So I don't completely like it, but I don't hate it either. It was just like, okay, that was kind of, that was alright. That was good. What was up with the title of this chapter, Song of the Heavenly Dragon? That was like nothing to do with this chapter. Did like Hiro accidentally title this chapter that, and that was meant to be like next week's chapter or 5 chapters from now? Like, what Song of the Heavenly Dragon? Like, what did that have to do with anything? Like, our Cana's breast the Heavenly Dragon? Now, the whole thing with Mita and Satan's soul and everything like that, it kind of made sense as well, so I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking badass. And I guess this chapter, what it did best was that it was like, yeah, Fairy Tail's about to kick some ass, and, that's one of the things about Fairy Tail. I was like, yo, they're about to go destroy some shit. Erza's out, Mirajane is out, everyone's out, and it's like, yeah, they're about to wreck shit. So, some of the good stuff that it did was, like, it got you hype for, some fights to come. It was like, Mita's out, she, like, just knocked out Kyouka's assistant, or I think Kyouka's assistant just, like, tripped and fell and busted her head or whatever, so she's out the picture now, the healing and rejuvenating person. Now, I want to quickly talk about what ForneverWorld said about Silver helping them to escape. I'm kind of glad that it was done in that fashion, because it felt very convenient. Oh, look, a sword there, let me grab it when the earthquake was going on or whatever, when the whole place was shaking. I was like, okay, that was actually better placed than I thought. I initially thought it was just like, whatever, that's just how, Hiro threw a magical sword there to help them get out of there. But it actually made sense that Silver, maybe he is actually undercover. Who knows what type of, where this particular gray is, because I'm assuming at this point that he is gray, that changed into Silver, whether it be from the future or whatever. Maybe he's undercover, maybe he came back in time to destroy Tartarus before they could do something deadly, and that's why he's slowly, like, he doesn't want to blow his cover, so he's not going to immediately just start attacking Tartarus like, come here, Kyouka, I'm going to choke you, bitch. But he's going to secretly help them out. And that's why he left the heat blade there, so that Natsu can use it to get out. And possibly, maybe Natsu uses that a lot more in this arc. I think that it would be actually pretty cool, him using, like, his fire techniques in different ways, using this sword. And if they don't take advantage of that, if Hiro doesn't use that to, like, do some cool shit, then it'll be just, like, pointless. Like, why particularly give him a heat blade? And I'd imagine that the reason why Silver did that as well is maybe if this is, like, future Silver, he knew that Natsu would be able to kick ass with this sword or something. So that's why specifically he gave him that sword. Them two snatching up Kyouka, not the smartest thing. Well, they don't really know necessarily, but Kyouka, with them grabbing her, all she got to do is, like, use her powers to basically, like, have them laugh themselves to death. And it's like, oh, I got you, motherfucker. So right now, they're still not in the clear yet 100% because they're grabbing her. So, like, all she has to do is use her magic on them two, put them there either to be laughing, like, make their laughing senses go up tremendously or whatever she want to do to them. And then it'll just basically be her against Erza, which, by the way, another problem I had with this chapter was that Erza is seemingly unscathed. All the torture, all the butt-naked humiliation, everything that Kyouka did to her, and she just looks like she has a couple, like, scrapes on her, like a bunch of scrapes or whatever. It's like, yeah, shouldn't she be, like, barely able to move after all the torture? Like, shouldn't she have to be wheelchaired up out of there? And she just looks like she's ready to kick ass. And while it looks badass as the motherfucker, Erza, like, getting ready to go in, having that motherfucker looking like he's dead on top of her, like a coat. Yeah, that looks great. The art in this chapter was actually really nice looking. But why isn't she damaged up? She's been tortured for how long now? And just, like, humiliated and everything. She should not be there ready to fight like nothing is going on. So in essence, with this chapter, while it did basically do a turnover, now Fairy Tail is getting ready to do their counterattack, everything is getting hyped, setting up fights and stuff like that, it does take away from some. First of all, Erza should be completely damaged. She shouldn't even be able to, like, walk up out of there, maybe, like, have somebody help her limp up out of there, and she's about to basically go up against Kyouka. Again, I'm imagining Kyoka's gonna do something to Natsu and Lisana, so that way it could just be one-on-one, because they're holding her right now, they're touching her, power, hello, so it's gonna probably be them them two, and it's just like, Erza should not be, you know, at this particular point where she can actually fight one-on-one and go in. And also, if she beats Kyouka after all the torture and everything, and Kyoka's 100%, that's just going to be ridiculous as well. Unfortunately, it probably will happen. And as much as I like to see Erza kick ass, she should be in a wheelchair right now. And as far as the whole thing with Fairy Tail not dying, everybody getting, you know, caught up in the Lacrima explosion, I was happy that it was an unexpected way of how Hiro did it, with Cana doing everything and Cana turning them into cards using the card magic or whatever. Seemed a bit convenient how she had just enough time to turn them into cards, give them to Happy and everybody, get up out of there before the explosion. But it was better than what, you know, it could have been. It could have been like, Happy ain't washed his balls in 3 weeks, so the stench of Happy's unwashed balls was able to cloud everyone in Fairy Tail and block the explosion from touching them. So all in all, while this chapter wasn't amazing, it wasn't necessarily bad either. It was just right there in the middle. Like, they had its problems. The whole thing seemed a little convenient, but it still made sense with Cana rescuing them. Erza should definitely not be on her feet, but it's still set up for a cool-looking fight. The whole thing with Silver was definitely some good stuff, where he seems to be like a traitor towards Tartarus, and he's slowly helping out Natsu and them without like anybody else in Tartarus noticing. Well, Frommoth now knows, so they might, you know, do some shit to him if they catch up to him, even though he's not around right now. So it had its goods, it had its bads. Overall, I felt as though it was right there in the middle. It was like, it was fine, it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was just like, fine. I'm gonna give this one 6 out of 10. It had its moments, but also it kind of was just like, And at the end of the day, in the Tartarus arc, I was hoping for some, you know, injuries with this big Lacrima bomb. But I guess once again, Fairy Tail lost his home, even though probably after this arc, the people will help them rebuild it. But let me know what you guys think. First of all, the suspicion regarding Silver even, you know, intensified further with this one. Now he's seemingly helping out Fairy Tail by leaving that Heat Blade. Was it because he wants to finish off Natsu himself? What was it? Why did he help Natsu and Lisana get out of that cell? When he threw the blanket, he probably threw that sword as well. Why did he do that? Also, Erza, why the hell is she up and at it, ready to go, when she should be completely exhausted from being tortured for so long? And overall, what's your take on the whole Cana rescuing everybody by turning them into cards? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you right there in the middle? What is your take on that? Because to be honest with you, I was coming in here with some expectations of like, okay, it probably will be bad. And I was like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing either. I didn't love it. I mean, it's good Kana's being useful, and it's not just her big old titties that are being useful to look at. So there's that. That's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you can't wait to see, hopefully, this Kyouka versus Erza battle be something interesting at the very least. I'm hoping that Kyouka, to be honest with you, puts down Erza, and it takes like all three of them, Natsu, Lisana, and Erza, to take her down, because, I mean, Erza should be worn the fuck out by now, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.